Agriculture on the move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement. Hello again, St. Lucia, and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney, your host. Over the years, the banana industry or the banana sector have been bashed. I know what you're thinking. I am not talking about prices. I'm not talking about markets. That's for another show. I'm not talking about coupe par coupe. Ça c'est pour l'autre jour. But today we are talking about the diseases that the banana industry has faced over the years. We were plagued with nematodes, which we were able to control. We were plagued with the yellow sigatoka, which we called the banana leaf spot. We were also plagued with the black sigatoka, which of course we effectively have under control. And by the way, as a result of that, we are the only island in the Windward Islands that are exporting bananas as we speak. But then, as we go along, there are going to be other constraints as far as diseases are concerned. We have looming over our heads what we call the TR4. We have experts here that are going to tell you about it. It's a fusarium wilt. We have had the TR1, 2, 3. Now we have looming in the horizon the TR4. With me today are two experts from the Department of Agriculture. I would allow them to introduce themselves. To my immediate right,
Mistress Natisha Duncan Joseph from the Research and Development Unit, Crop Protection and Quarantine Section.
Great.
My name is Cletus Alexander. I'm a Crop Protection Officer at the Ministry of Agriculture.
Welcome, lady and gentlemen, to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cletus, I'll start with you. In terms of that new disease that is hoping to hit St. Lucia, we don't know when. The TR4. Tell us about the TR4. It's a fusarium wilt. Explain to St. Lucia in the simplest form what is the TR4.
Tropical risk for TR4 is a fungal disease of bananas. The fungus enters the plant through the root and affect the vascular tissues of the plant, preventing the plant from absorbing water and nutrients. And in the long term, the plant will die.
Okay. Now, going back to the other races, incomparable to this one, what is the difference?
Yes, there is a difference. Remember, in the 1950s, banana production was based on the Gros Michel cultivar. And with TR1, that wiped out the entire Gros Michel industry. Mm-hmm. And lucky for us at the time, there was the Cavendish variety, which we were able to cultivate and export. Now, if you observe presently with the Macambo, there is some form of fusarium, which is risk 2, affecting the Macambo, affecting the productivity of the Macambo. If you go around the country, you realize Macambo production has declined significantly over the years. But with TR4, we're expecting something different. While some of the races, they affected specific cultivars of bananas, TR4 is affecting everything. Bananas, plantain, Macambo, just name it. So again, in terms of agriculture, the history of agriculture, TR4 is one of the 10 most destructive diseases ever known to agriculture. With this disease, there is no plant or soil treatment that we can apply right now to control this disease. The best form of controlling this disease right now is prevention. Let's try to prevent this disease from getting into our country.
Okay, as we speak about prevention, Ms. Duncan, Mrs. Duncan.
Mrs. Joseph.
Mrs. Joseph. Okay, thank you for the correction. We need to prevent that disease from reaching our shores.
Very much
Okay. Where is that disease now in terms of proximity to St. Lucia?
Okay, at present, this disease is in Colombia. They officially gave the go-ahead that it was notified in the country in June of this year. So that is not too far from us. Colombia is at the bottom. You have Trinidad right there. So people traveling, it is easy for this disease to move from Colombia up the chain of islands. So that is why we always have strict restrictions on banana products. Anything that is associated to banana, we're talking about craft items, we're talking about banana plants, the banana itself, the fruit, anything that comes from the banana species, plantain, macambu, and there are other varieties that fall within this family. You have the ornamentals, like the heliconias, the bird of paradise. They fall within the same family.
That's the Musa species.
Yes, the Musa species. So they themselves, in as much as the disease does not affect them, they can transmit the disease. They are called hosts. So they carry the disease with them. So we have restrictions on all these items and trying to make sure that this disease stays out as much as possible, along as other plant diseases that are associated to banana species. So we are encouraging persons that are traveling to try their best not to carry with them anything that is associated to banana. That is why we take from them, and they will tell you they travel with maybe their craft items from banana plants or their little banana plants, and it was taken at customs. This is why we are doing this, to ensure that the disease is not transmitted from one location to another, because a casual person, they do not have the scientific knowledge as to how to determine what the symptoms of this disease is when it's not in its virulent stage. Like when it is in its dormant stage, with the naked eye you cannot tell that the plant is affected, whatever you carry is affected. So that is why we have strict restrictions, because the ordinary person would not know what to look for, how to look for. So we have strict restrictions on any banana material coming into St. Lucia right now.
What is the disease? Is it a virus or a bacteria?
It's a fungus.
It's a fungus.
Yes, but unlike other funguses, this one is in the soil. It's a soil-borne disease. So whatever is in the soil. So for example, if you use your cutlass in a soil that is infected with that disease, and you do not wash the cutlass, you can literally carry that disease with you. Your shoes, for example, if you probably went on a farm that has the disease present and you have soil in your shoe, under your shoe, your hands, your clothing, whatever it is, and you do not disinfect that properly, you are carrying the disease with you without knowing. So we are encouraging persons, if you have been on farms, for example, maybe you travel down that line, down to Colombia, or wherever you travel, once you come in, you're going to go back to your country, or St. Lucia, for example, make sure you clean your shoes properly. If you have any dirty clothes that you went out in the field with, make sure you wash it properly to prevent the spread of that disease.
There are two things there. You have Windfresh. They have their officers traveling to those countries where they buy bananas from, okay? And of course, some of these countries are affected, okay? What do you, or have you had anything in place, or will you be having anything in place to ensure when these persons are leaving, to tell you that they are going there so that they can be quarantined, quote unquote, and what is it you have in place at the point of entry at the airports and the seaports? As far as the shoes are concerned, is there going to be a foot bath or something? Could you give us some insight into that?
We are in the process of obtaining foot baths to put at the ports of entry, so that when persons are coming in, that the shoes get disinfected when they are entering. Also, we will be putting in place some form of questionnaire. So it will question passengers as to the last destination, the areas that they visited during their trip. So we have an idea as to where persons are coming from, so we know how to deal with them. So then if we encounter anybody who has been to Colombia, for example, we will ensure that we maybe, go through their baggage thoroughly, ensure that they have no dirty shoes, no soil, nothing in there that could be a possible carrier of the
So if you find a dirty shoe, what you going to do? You're going to wash it or you go throw it away? Hold that point, we do for a break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
For effective chemical treatment of black sigatoka, practice routine preventative maintenance of all tools and equipment, especially the mist blower, to ensure proper functioning. Clean sprayer after use and service the machine regularly as recommended by the manufacturer. Whenever you are using pesticides to control black sigatoka disease, personal protection and safety measures must be followed. Spray operators must always wear proper protective gear. Before or when handling pesticides, put on your overalls, respirator, goggles, boots, and gloves to avoid contact with the skin, inhalation, and ingestion of pesticides.
For more information on how to treat and control black sigatoka on your farm or in your backyard garden, contact the Black Sigatoka Management Unit at 451-5491, 451-5894, or email bpmu@candw.lc. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of the Republic of China on Taiwan.
Welcome back to the program. Interesting, because at the point of entry, I mean, it is very sensitive. I mean, to me, it's a matter of time that this disease will get into St. Lucia. But that being said, we need to put things in place, okay? And like I said, that vigorous checking of tourists coming in and going through their luggage and to get a dirty shoe, you know, what it is that you all will do with that dirty shoe. Will you all have them to wash it out? Is there something in place at the airport or point of entry that can be taken care of?
Most likely we will have areas so that we can wash those shoes off and get rid of the water safely, because even the water is a carrier, so we cannot just, if we encounter a dirty shoe, we cannot just take the water and just throw it out anywhere. So we would have to probably autoclave this water, or boil it to make sure that we destroy whatever pathogen may be in there. So these are the measures that we will have to put in place, and in as much as we probably don't have the funding, we will need to find funding. I mean, it is less than if the disease gets here. So right now that we have to secure funding so that we can put those measures in place to ensure that we delay the disease as much as possible. Because right now, like you mentioned earlier on, we are the only country in the island, in the Leeward Island, producing banana. And I mean, if we were to lose that market,
That's it.
Our farmers would suffer considerably. So we are trying our best to protect this banana industry that we have. So we are encouraging persons, please, if you are traveling to those islands that are affected by this banana disease, make sure you take all precautions, make sure you wash whatever tools that you use in those places, especially tourists. If they've been to the farms, make sure you wash your shoes, whatever you use on those farms, make sure you wash them before you return to St. Lucia, because our banana industry is very susceptible and we cannot afford any more diseases entering St. Lucia.
I'll come back to you, because I need to find out again how vigorous and how soon you all are going to start that program in terms of prevention and awareness to the public. But I want to go to Cletus to ask him, tell us, what are the symptoms of that TR4, so that, let us assume it gets into St. Lucia unknown to us, yeah? Like the black sigatoka, while we were talking, the thing was here already, okay? So we need to, again, point devant, avant devant point, all right? Tell us about how can we identify?
First of all, some of the plants may be infected and show no symptoms whatsoever. But some of the more common signs of that disease, identifying that disease, are the leaves, especially the younger leaves, they tend to turn yellow and they collapse around the pseudostem, forming something like a skirt. All of us will be familiar with a skirt look like. Again, for the plants, some of the leaves may form the skirt, but the upper leaves, the younger leaves may also look healthy. And in terms of the pseudostem, if you split the pseudostem, you will see necrosis, which is the browning of most of the tissues of the plant. So when this happens, as I said, since the vascular tissues are affected, the plant will not be able to absorb nutrient, water, and so on, so to sustain itself. So the plant will eventually die.
So, yeah, continue.
To add to what Cletus was saying, you also have the leaf shaft, that is the end of the leaf. When the plant is infected, it is shorter than in a healthier plant. A healthier plant, it would be long. But once the plant is infected, you get that the leaves the new leaves forming, that the stalk is shorter than a healthy plant. Also, you have a split on the pseudostem close to the bottom of the comb at the bottom. You'll find a split on the pseudostem itself. And when you uproot that plant, at the bottom of the comb, you actually see a hole in there. Yeah, it forms a hole in there. So it starts to rot in, and you find a hole in the bottom of the comb.
But are there any similarities with, say, other diseases that it might be a bit difficult for the farmer to identify?
I don't think so,
Yes,
because
it's because with plants, a lot of the diseases, some of the symptoms are similar.
yeah.
So it's very difficult because, again, risk 1, risk 2, the symptoms may look similar to risk 4. So it's very difficult to just look at a plant and say, well, it's TR4. It's only through a laboratory test that you'll be able to confirm whether it's TR4 or not.
Okay. So, yeah?
But in the case with the yellowing, like you mentioned with the risk 2 affects Macambo. But then with the risk 4, that is affecting Cavendish varieties and all other bananas. So if you see a banana plant turning yellow, it would tell you that it is not a normal thing.
Right.
Because the risk 2 does not affect bananas. So once you see a banana plant, because nice bright yellow, it's not like that of the black sigatoka where you see the black spots. It's a nice bright yellow color. So if you see that happening to a banana plant, something is definitely wrong. And it is not something that we have here, because that yellow you'll not find it in the banana. You'll find it in the Macambo, like I said, but not in our banana. So once you see that in our banana down here, this is a call for alarm. This is a call for us to go in there and check to see what's happening.
But is there research being done as far as tolerable varieties are concerned down the road for the TR4?
There are some countries doing research. Well, TR4 was initially discovered in Taiwan, so I assume the Taiwanese are doing lots of research on tolerant varieties. I know of some countries where bananas are being genetically modified to deal with TR4. But the problem with most of the research is that the varieties, are they marketable? That is the problem that we face.
Marketable being palatable.
Marketable also. Well, can we market them to the European market? Is that the variety
that they will want?
They will want.
Okay, hold that point again. We do for a second break. You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. Just stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join.
Excessive agrochemical use, additives, and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy, and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GEF Small Grants Program, UNDP.
The good food revolution.
Welcome back. Moving forward, so there's no eradication for that.
No, there is no eradication. Once you're affected, there's no eradication because it's soil.
It's
soil-borne, and there is no treatment for the soil.
Nothing like that. Yeah. Okay. And the only way forward maybe is varietal.
Yeah.
That can be tolerant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from what I've been reading, they claim that there are fungicides that work, but then on a large scale, on a field scale, it doesn't work. If you have in vitro plants, if you have your plants in a, maybe a greenhouse where you actually control all the environment, you can deal with it. But out there in the open, no, there is no treatment out there. I
still believe there'll be treatment somewhere down the road. I still believe
Well, like I said,
for every disease,
Yeah.
trust me, down the road they will find, maybe not in our, maybe lifetime, but somewhere down the road I believe they will find some treatment.
I guess the challenge is dealing with the soil because, there's no treatment that you can apply to soil per se because, soil is
Yeah,
soil.
yeah,
You
yeah,
cannot
yeah.
put chemical in there to actually kill. You cannot, it's just soil. So I guess that is the challenge they will basically face.
But let me
with
ask you,
something.
what do you think is most challenging in terms of entry to St. Lucia? What is the more vulnerable means of entry?
Based on some of the discussions on TR4, especially we had a meeting in Dominican Republic, the regional MUSA Technical Working Group. We've identified the tourism industry as the key pathway for TR4 because we have tourists coming from all different countries and there is no system in place to really, as I said again with disinfection, yes, you may disinfect the person's shoes, but the shoelaces may also carry soil and so on. So it's very difficult to say,
tell them leave the shoe on the boat and come barefoot.
No,
Yes,
that is impossible. So as I said, prevention is sort of almost impossible. What will work for us is preparedness. Let's prepare for when that situation will hit us.
Okay, when are we going to prepare? Okay, so that's one of the first cycles, our interview, which is awareness to the public.
Yes.
Okay, that's the beginning. But I think there should be a more vigorous, preventative awareness program. What about training of officers, training of farmers to look at, the preventative methods?
They have these upcoming events. We're supposed to do some training. Well, I'm supposed to do some training with the custom officers,
Right?
Because they
They're the
are our focal point. They act on our behalf. They are the first set of persons interacting with the passengers coming in. So I have to conduct some training with them to abreast them on the TR4 disease. There are also plans in place to have training with the farmer groups, the banana associations like the Winfresh and the NFTO.
BPIP.
And to have them abreast as to what's taking place. So we have these upcoming events.
And of course, communication strategy in terms of publicity. I suppose that's another thing that you'll need to look at so that we can come in, with you all and to prepare maybe billboards out there, various strategic areas, more programs like this, using the other television stations, going on the talk shows. We need to let people know about this because that's going to affect our banana industry. No, kono asu no kapale kweyol actuellement parce no simen kweyol andi nou ki sa ka fait dise pepe ya di no bot vemin sa ki danger oui qui ka affecté figure cette ici.
Well, là nous aller en ces communauté à ex femme ou ka si pour ça en chay ces femmes yo beaucoup tant about TR4 et yo beaucoup connaître about TR4. So nous à présent nous pour dire that nous a problème ça nous croit que en les horizon nous a problème qu'a développer that qui peut affecter nous en chay en tant que venir. Ça c'est problème en disease je crois que TR4. Changer nous tenir black sikatoka, les black sikatoka venir moun di en chay ba avec black sikatoka, mais nous fait bien nous de contrôle TR4 nous tenir chimique pour contrôler TR4. Sorry, pas
black sikatoka.
TR4, black sikatoka. Mais problème là nous ka joindre à présent c'est TR4. La pas ni pièce chimique, la pas ni pièce traitement où ça fait en les plans qui ça contrôler TR4. So nous un problème qu'a développé that nous quand pour venir dans ces communauté a ces femmes éduquer ces femmes muche yo di yo that vitement pièce plan figure qui regarder drôle qui n'a problème et pays qui est département nous ça venir examiner ces plans ça because si nous pas fait ça et nous quitter disease ça là vin en place nous pas faire rien, nous quitter ici mais tout ces côtés yo capable de figue, yo capable de banane, yo capable de macabo, nous avons un problème la main because figue, banane, macabo, ça important pour ça nous avons food security nous. En chaque monde même à figue, même à banane, même à macabo, nous avons exporter figue à l'Angleterre, nous avons exporter figue à l'Union Caribéenne. Si nous quitter c'est pareil ça tiers for venir et nous pas point bail contre lui démarche contre lui nous n'achète pas.
Bon, Natasha, dis-moi, dit c'est mon cette liste, dit Pepe, c'est pas femme tout seul, hein? Pepe, dis-nous qui ça a fait pour empêcher ces vermines ça tout cette liste.
À présentement, ça nous a fait département, nous a tout le monde qui a traversé, nous a encouragé pour pas chailler et puis yo pièces bagaille qui fait et puis figue, pièces plan figue. En chaille de nous a laissé pour nous quand on ka venir oh anti plan figue moi il ka apporter bail yo ka mener yo pas savent parce comme do en chaque monde passe à détecter maladie plan parce yo pas ni qualification pour yo savent si plan malade si pas malade yo regarder balancier yo amasser yo mener pour yo planter la caillou mais yo pas jamais savent qui quantité problème plan salade doit cacher et puis donc nous encourager monde qui ka traverser pour pas amasser pièces plan pièces bagay qui fait et puis figue pièces figue en chaque monde cacher figue mi quoi ici pour figue monde ka mener cette liste là yo ka traverser figue mi figue vet banane yo cacher pas mener yo quitter yo ko yo passe ou pas savent quantité problème pour cacher de ou là cacher yo concluter ça dit organisation figue nous ici est susceptible en chai sous mener rien tout et puis peut-être la caillou point you just read ou pas quand même ver ça qu'a fait d'ici ça là il en terre sans terre il ka vivre depuis terre de l'eau laver il ka aller puis de l'eau d'ici là ça si mais pas de l'eau et puis terre sous mener un plan qui affecté et pour just point you planter des cailloux la pluie tomber de l'eau à laver de l'eau à aller l'autre côté miouhani un problème d'ici là si mais tout partout c'est pour ça que le test dit sous pièce plan en plantation qui a gardé droit en bagaille ou pas habitué ouais pas prendre des marches plus vitement couiller département dit au vinn garder qui ça qui aller passe d'ici ça là il travaille là depuis pour arriver c'est la pani pièce ou pas ça contrôler ou pas ça chebe derrière ou pas ça la pani pièce chimique pour dire ou kay bay chimique kay empêcher simer depuis pour arriver c'est
ça dit ça
yon outbreak à la disease depuis yon outbreak ça wipe up whole banana industry pas yon femme c'est pour monde comprendre ça c'est pas yon femme outbreak of disease ça wipe up whole industry.
D'accord, nous comprenons ça. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the program. I want to thank you for being here. Keep on telling people about this disease. It's very, very important. I want you all to continue that. We have been watching Agriculture on the Move. We want to thank you for viewing the program. Please, people, be cognizant of this. That's serious because our livelihoods are at stake. If that disease hits St. Lucia, we are in problems. Thank you for viewing the program, and remember, agriculture is our business. Eat fresh, St. Lucia's best. And of course, our food security and nutrition security is important. I'm Philip Sidney. Goodbye. Thank you, ma'am.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.